Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. We've got a fascinating topic to explore that might leave you thinking about the future in a whole new way. Today, we're delving into the mysterious world of prophecies, specifically those of the legendary 16th century astrologer Nostradamus. Many people throughout history have looked to seers, prophets, and other sources to try to get a glimpse of what might happen in the future. Nostradamus is one of the most famous figures to have made predictions that seem to be surprisingly accurate. So, let's take a deep dive into some of his most famous prophecies, particularly those related to 2025. Could this be the year that some of his most significant predictions come true? Let's take a closer look together and see what might be waiting just around the corner. First, let's explore the possibility that we could witness the end of Pope Francis's papacy. As of 2025, Pope Francis will be 88 years old and has already struggled with a variety of health issues. He recently experienced respiratory problems severe enough to keep him from attending a United Nations climate change summit. This has raised many eyebrows, especially when you consider that Nostradamus predicted a major shift in the Vatican. In his treatise, Les Prophecies, the Prophecy, written back in 1555, he described a very old pontiff passing away and the election of a new pope, one who might be seen as less influential or who could face significant challenges in leading the church. Nostradamus's prophecy said, "Through the death of a very old pontiff, a Roman of good age will be elected. Of him, it will be said that he weakens his seat, but long will he sit, and in binding activity." At first glance, this sounds like a straightforward transition in leadership. However, the mention of a pope who weakens his seat could mean several things. Does it suggest that the influence of the Vatican might fade? Or is there something more significant lurking in the background, perhaps a scandal or internal crisis? Only time will tell, but many believe that we could be nearing the moment of transition predicted so long ago. The fact that Nostradamus's writings are filled with cryptic language makes it difficult to know for certain what he truly meant. His quatrains are often open to multiple interpretations, and this prophecy is no exception. As we continue, let's turn our attention to the United Kingdom and the royal family, who have been making headlines for their own set of challenges. In the most recent updates, King Charles III, who is 75 years old, has been diagnosed with a form of cancer and is stepping back from some of his public duties while he undergoes treatment. Buckingham Palace released a statement at the beginning of February, reassuring the public that King Charles is expected to return to his royal duties as soon as he is able. However, many are wondering how long he will be able to continue as monarch. Nostradamus made a rather startling prediction in Les Prophecies that some believe could apply to the current situation. The astrologer is said to have foreseen that the monarch of the British Isles would be expelled by the use of force and replaced by a leader who would not have any resemblance to a king. This could refer to King Charles being forced to abdicate, with a much younger and unexpected successor taking the throne. This prophecy has captured the attention of many, especially when you consider the possibility that Prince Harry, the younger son of Charles, could end up as king. While Harry has largely stayed out of the public eye in recent years, the prediction that someone unworthy might rise to power could be referring to the controversy surrounding his life and the royal family. In this case, Harry's ascension to the throne would be a complete shock, as he was never expected to take on such a role. Mario Reading, an author and expert on Nostradamus's predictions, analyzed the situation in his book Nostradamus, The Complete Prophecies for the Future, and suggested that this could indeed be a prophecy about the current royal family. He speculated that Nostradamus foresaw a time when a monarch would be overthrown by the people, who would turn against the king because of personal scandals or dissatisfaction with his reign. This interpretation leads to the startling possibility that Prince Harry, a man with no real preparation or desire to rule, might find himself unexpectedly sitting on the throne. Could Nostradamus have predicted this kind of royal upheaval hundreds of years ago? It certainly makes one wonder. Meanwhile, another part of the royal family, Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales, has also been the subject of much speculation. Recently, rumors spread that the princess had disappeared or was being kept out of the public eye for mysterious reasons. She reportedly underwent stomach surgery in January, but her recovery has been shrouded in secrecy, leading some to wonder if there's more to the story than what's being reported. Some palace staff members have even claimed they haven't been able to contact her, and they were unaware of the surgery until it was publicly revealed. This unusual level of secrecy has sparked numerous conspiracy theories, with some wondering if there's something more sinister happening behind closed doors. While her family has assured the public that she is simply recovering privately, the mystery surrounding Kate's situation has only added fuel to the growing sense of uncertainty surrounding the royal family. If Nostradamus's predictions about instability within the British monarchy are to be believed, could this be a sign of even more upheaval on the horizon? Shifting gears a bit, Nostradamus also made startling predictions about the possibility of a Third World War. His writings suggest that a global conflict could be on the horizon, and recent tensions between major powers only seem to add weight to his words. As the influence of China grows and its aggressive actions in regions like the South China Sea and Taiwan continue to escalate, many geopolitical experts are starting to wonder whether a large-scale military clash could be in the works. In one of his quatrains, Nostradamus described a red adversary becoming pale with fear, putting the great ocean in dread. While this cryptic language could be interpreted in a number of ways, many believe that the red adversary refers to China, which is often associated with the color red, particularly in political and military contexts. Could Nostradamus have been predicting a military showdown in Asia, potentially involving China and its interactions with NATO countries? It's certainly possible. Some see the tensions between China, Taiwan, and Western nations as a direct reflection of the kind of conflict Nostradamus foresaw. Finally, we can't ignore the religious and spiritual side of Nostradamus's predictions, especially in relation to the end times. Throughout history, many have pointed to wars, natural disasters, and societal unrest as signs that we're living in the final days. In Christian teachings, the Apostle Paul warned that in the last days, people would abandon the truth and follow false teachings. Revelation 6:4 even mentions a symbolic horseman representing warfare who would take peace away from the earth. If Nostradamus's prophecies and the biblical warnings are to be believed, we might be on the edge of a time of great turmoil. While these predictions are open to interpretation, the idea of a final global conflict is something that many have contemplated for centuries. The truth is, the future remains uncertain, and prophecies are often mysterious, metaphorical, and up to personal interpretation. Some of Nostradamus's predictions may come true, while others may be mere coincidences. The key takeaway is that we must be vigilant, thoughtful, and prepared for whatever might come next. As we approach 2025, the world is filled with uncertainty, and these ancient prophecies offer us both a warning and a chance to reflect on our path forward. What do we really know about what's ahead? Only time will tell. But for now, it's an exciting and sometimes unsettling time to wonder about the possibilities. Thank you for joining us on this journey through prophecies, and we hope you'll continue exploring these fascinating ideas with us. Take care, and let's keep watching to see what the future holds. There will be a coming of the Antichrist. At this very moment, the third Antichrist has arrived, precisely as Nostradamus foretold he would be 50 centuries ago. There are 3 antichrists that Nostradamus wrote about. The world has already been drenched in blood by 2 individuals, namely Napoleon and Hitler. Nevertheless, it is the 3rd one who will bring about the apocalypse, and the time has arrived for him to do it. With regard to the Antichrist, a great number of names have been suggested. There has been a great deal of conjecture on the part of individuals about the identity of this individual. The individual in question may be a well-known figure who is wealthy, articulate, and able to readily persuade others. Numerous individuals, including Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and even King Charles, are suspected of being this individual. Nevertheless, we do not have any absolute confirmation about the identification of this individual. We are simply aware of the fact that the demonic individual has most likely made an appearance and is demonstrating his might. The conflict between the kingdom of God and the kingdom of Satan is experiencing a level of intensity that has never been seen before in the history of the world. I feel that this is due to the fact that we are getting closer and closer to the future when Christ will come and the dominion of Satan will be completely destroyed. What kind of person will be the Antichrist? The spirit of the Antichrist is its 3rd manifestation. Every Antichrist is governed by the spirit of the Antichrist, which is the spirit that it has. At the same time, the Antichrist will always begin in some manner associated with the people of God. Nevertheless, it will eventually become clear that it does not really belong there. This will be made clear at the appropriate time. This is one of the characteristics that describe the spirit of the Antichrist. Risks originate from the natural world. According to yet another prophecy of Nostradamus, the year 2025 would bring about a further acceleration of climate change, which would result in an increase in the number of weather disturbances caused by intense storms or higher temperatures. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration of the United States has said that there is a 1/3 possibility that the year 2025 will be even hotter than the year 2023, and there is a 99% likelihood that the year 2025 will be among the 5 warmest years that have ever been recorded. The reason for this is because the globe is experiencing climate change as a result of the combustion of fossil fuels by people, in conjunction with the emergence of the El Niño climatic pattern in the second half of the year 2023 forward. For example, snowstorms in North America, volcanic eruptions in Iceland, thick fog and cold waves that cause temperatures to fall in India are just some of the severe events that have been triggered by this, in addition to a number of other natural elements. These incidents illustrate some of the most severe conditions that the globe is now experiencing. The barren earth will become even more parched, and there will be significant floods, according to the writings of Nostradamus. Additionally, he forecasted the occurrence of catastrophic weather occurrences and the global food crisis, which manifested itself as a severe famine. In addition, the prophet foretells that there will be a disastrous big famine that will be followed by a devastating tsunami and large floods that would decimate areas of the planet. There will be significant floods, according to Nostradamus, and the earth will grow drier in the future. The consequence is that the tsunami may have an effect on agricultural land, which would contribute to a catastrophic period of starvation. In conclusion, the Frenchman pondered the possibility that the planet could be struck by a powerful and perilous earthquake in the next year, which will result in the untimely death of thousands of people. It is reminiscent of what occurred recently in Morocco, where thousands of people lost their lives as a result of a great earthquake in Marrakesh and its surroundings, or the natural disasters that Iceland is experiencing at the moment, which could prove Nostradamus right once more. Though the location is not specified, it is reminiscent of what occurred in Morocco. I will also explain what the Bible says about the end times. and you should make an effort to reflect on the truth with the prophecy from Nostradamus. Having stated that, I will mention what was said regarding the end times. Many will come in my name, claiming, I am the Christ, and will deceive many, Jesus says in Matthew 24:5-8. These are some of the most essential indicators as to how we might determine the approach of the end times. You will be exposed to wars and rumors of wars, but you must make sure that you do not get worried by this information. Even while events of this kind are unavoidable, the conclusion is not yet in sight. A country will rise up against another nation, and a kingdom will rise up against another kingdom. Both earthquakes and famines are going to occur in a number of different locations. A rise in the number of false messiahs, an increase in the number of wars, and an increase in the number of famines, plagues, and natural calamities are all indications that the end times are quickly approaching. It seems that the forecasts were accurate. There were renowned prophecies made by Nostradamus that astonished people all across the globe. There are some of Nostradamus's predictions that come true, while others do not. On the other hand, they all force individuals to pay attention. Based on the computations of the planets and stars with the Earth, the prophet Nostradamus said that his prophecies were based on the calculations. It is composed of 942 poetry poems that are referred to as quatrains, and it represents his vision of the future. Many catastrophes, including plagues, earthquakes, wars, floods, droughts, and skirmishes, were precisely prophesied by Nostradamus during his lifetime. The French Revolution, World Wars Premier and Secu, the deaths of Napoleon, Hitler, and Princess Diana, and even the scientific feat of the Apollo landing on the moon, are just some of the historical events that have been documented by readers of Nostradamus as having been accurately foretold. On the basis of the computations of the planets and stars with the Earth, Nostradamus said that his prophecies were founded on it. In addition to chronicles from the Middle Ages, there is a source of information that stems from classical historians. It is a widely held belief among academics that Nostradamus derived his interpretation of the end of the world from ancient prophecies, primarily from the Bible, and then utilized previous astrological readings to make predictions about events that would take place in the year to come. Henry II, Emperor of France, was one of the first persons to be appalled by the forecast that was made by Nostradamus. After the king, who was 46 years old at the time, saw that his health was worsening, he invited Nostradamus into the palace to inquire about his future. Nostradamus gave him the following prediction: "One day, your Majesty's head will be stabbed by a sharp object, and that will be the basis for your death." While he cautioned the king to steer clear of horse combat, King Henry II continued to engage in a duel with Count Montgomery on the day that his sister was being married in June of 1559, despite the fact that Nostradamus had warned him against it. Montgomery, who was 6 years younger than Henry, was the one who wore the shields that were etched with lions. The lance was able to breach the face shield of the king while he was playing, causing him to suffer a piercing to his eye and an impaling to his temple, after spending 10 days doing nothing except lying. In bed, King Henry II died at the age of 51. According to the book Centuries, which was written by Nostradamus and published a year earlier, the occurrence was documented. Nostradamus was also able to properly predict the destiny of another emperor who lived almost 2 centuries after him, Napoleon. He was a guy who triumphed in many conflicts but was unsuccessful in Russia, and he eventually lost his crown. The poems of Nostradamus make it very obvious that the great emperor would start out in a modest position and ascend to greatness very rapidly. While the vanquished prince is exiled in Elba and making his way back to Marseille across the Gulf of Genoa, he will not pass foreign nations. This occurs when the prince achieves absolute authority. In spite of the fact that they were spared death, they were still required to bleed blood. In the year 1666, a catastrophic fire broke out in London, the bustling capital of England. The famous seer Nostradamus had made a chilling prophecy regarding this event, stating, "The blood of the God of justice will cover London. The city will burn in the year 66. The lady will lose her supreme position, and many places will be destroyed." This prediction, remarkably specific in its timing, was later proven to be eerily accurate. Even the most ardent skeptics of Nostradamus's abilities are forced to acknowledge the significance of this particular forecast. As a result of the devastating fire, 3/4 of London was reduced to ashes. Nostradamus's prophecies were not limited to this one event. In his writings, he is said to have predicted numerous historical occurrences, such as the atrocities committed by Adolf Hitler during World War II, the atomic bombings of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, the tragic explosion of the U.S. space shuttle in 1986, and even the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. These predictions have fueled much debate and intrigue over the centuries. Nostradamus made his decision to fully commit to his prophetic career in 1554 when he published The Oracles of Prophecy. This marked the beginning of his journey to record his visions of the future. Each book he wrote was structured with 10 chapters, each containing 100 predictions in the form of cryptic quatrains. These works were a compilation of some of his most notable long-term forecasts, with his most famous collection being released in 1555. Nostradamus often employed poetry and utilized multiple languages, including Greek, Italian, Latin, Provençal, and various dialects of southern France, as a way to obscure the meaning of his predictions. By doing this, he ensured that his prophecies could not be easily traced to specific events or individuals, thus protecting himself from suspicion or backlash. Due to the vagueness and ambiguity of his prophecies, especially when it came to the timing and location of events, they were often not seen as reliable guides for prediction. Most people only turned to Nostradamus's quatrains after the events had occurred, using them to reflect on the past rather than anticipate the future. Over the years, Nostradamus has been the subject of much controversy. Some view him as a servant of the devil, while others consider him to be either a fraud or completely insane. Despite these negative opinions, a large number of people continue to believe that his prophecies were divinely inspired. In Asia, among the intellectual and elite classes, Nostradamus is gaining increasing recognition and respect. One of his most devoted supporters was Catherine de' Medici, the queen consort of King Henry II of France. After reading his 1555 almanac, Catherine invited Nostradamus to Paris to interpret her horoscope, which she believed forewarned of an unknown danger to her family. For over 400 years, Nostradamus's prophecies have confounded and intrigued scholars and scientists alike. More than 50% of his over 1,000 predictions have come true, further cementing his reputation as one of the most remarkable figures in the world of prophecy. Scholars who study Nostradamus have even predicted that by the year 3979, the Gobi Desert will transform into a sea, as he reportedly foresaw the future of humanity up until the year 7000. With this vast timeline, there is still much time for mankind to ponder whether Nostradamus's prophecies are truly accurate, especially considering that it is only the year 2025. While Nostradamus is perhaps the most famous prophet, there are others whose predictions have garnered attention, particularly Baba Vanga. Known as the Nostradamus of the Balkans, Baba Vanga is renowned for her incredible ability to predict future events with an accuracy rate of 85%. Vanga's life was marked by tragedy, as she lost her sight in a storm during her childhood. But this misfortune was followed by an unexpected gift, the ability to foresee future events. According to legend, a violent storm swept her away in Bulgaria, and while sand blinded her eyes, it also awakened her prophetic abilities. Baba Vanga is credited with accurately predicting major global events such as the Chernobyl disaster in 1986, the death of Princess Diana in 1997, the September 11th terrorist attacks in 2001, and even Brexit, the United Kingdom's exit from the European Union in 2020. Despite her passing in 1996 at the age of 84, some of her prophecies continue to unfold with remarkable precision. Baba Vanga's forecasts for the year 2025 have once again captured the imagination of many. According to her, a massive catastrophe will occur this year, shaking the global economy. She predicted that escalating debt levels, rising geopolitical tensions, and a shift in economic power from the West to the East would all contribute to this event. In addition to economic turmoil, Vanga also foresaw natural disasters and extreme meteorological events that will affect the world this year. Vanga spoke of changes to the Earth's orbit, a phenomenon that typically occurs over long periods but could lead to devastating consequences if these shifts happen rapidly. This could result in drastic climate changes and heightened levels of radiation. Furthermore, she warned of a significant increase in cyber attacks, targeting key infrastructure like power grids and water treatment facilities, posing a serious threat to national security. In the realm of medicine, however, Baba Vanga predicted positive advancements. She foresaw the development of new treatments for previously incurable diseases, including Alzheimer's disease. Perhaps most notably, she believed that a cure for cancer would be discovered by 2025. Another of her predictions involved breakthroughs in quantum computing, which would allow computers to solve problems at speeds far beyond those of traditional machines. This, she suggested, would accelerate the development of artificial intelligence, a field already progressing at a rapid pace. With the rise of AI technologies like GPT chat, it is not surprising to see the increasing role of artificial intelligence in shaping our future. As we move through 2025, the world remains captivated by these visionary prophecies. Whether from Nostradamus or Baba Vanga, the idea that the future is written in the stars continues to intrigue and inspire. The question remains, how much of what they foresaw will truly come to pass?